Hey everybody, this is probably just going to make it into the next video. I'm sick and I'm house sitting for my brother, so not exactly ideal video making time, but I just had to get this clip of this Star Sentry absolutely freaking the fuck out trying to get to me. I hit him one time to knock him out of this mithril area so I could keep grinding because I'm grinding mithril powder. And he's just not pleased with the fact that I sent his ass flying and now he can't reach me. So yeah, I just wanted to record that because I thought that was really goofy. Hey everybody, so today I wanted to talk a little bit about powder grinding, the three varieties, my thoughts on them, pre and post update. I know the modernizing mining update has been out for a while now, and people, are still split about it, but for the most part have come to the light to understand that it was better for mining than it was worse. But the powder changes, I think, were one of the more significant things because they really changed around how you get powder and what you need to do to maximize your powder. So apologies for my voice if you didn't see in the intro. I am a little bit sick right now, but I'm on the up and up, so all good there. My voice should be all recovered by the next video or stream. But anyway, yeah, so to start with mithril powder, I want to highlight how you used to farm mithril powder. The most efficient method in the past was opening chests in the Crystal Hollows. And for those of you who didn't play before the modernizing mining update, currently the chests in the Crystal Hollows only drop gemstone powder when they drop powder. They have no option to drop mithril powder anymore. However, before the modernizing mining update, they dropped both gemstone and mithril powder, with gemstone powder being at a lower weighting than it is right now. That makes it significantly better now than it used to be for gemstone powder. And also mithril powder, while honestly more tedious, might actually be better rates now than it used to be. And it is certainly faster now to do your mithril and your gemstone powder in total than it used to be to have to do them both together via Crystal Hollows grinding. So yeah, I think the biggest and best way to do mining for mithril powder is Dwarven Mines commissions, or rather just mining mithril and then doing commissions, whenever they happen to be completed, powder gas and Dwarven Mines events. So the mithril mining kind of speaks for itself. You'll want to use, whatever armor that you have, fuse to or reforge to dimensional so that when you mine titanium, you'll get extra mithril powder, and then reforge all of your equipment to royal so that you'll get bonus powder from mining events. Active mining events will give you a decent amount of your powder. Don't believe the people who say that they'll give you a majority of it. Especially if you're later game in the mining and you're using like a mithril drill with a spicy goblin omelet, etc., which we'll get into in a sec, you'll probably be outclassing the active event amount that you'll be getting just by mining mithril by a significant amount if you have any reasonable amount of mining speed. So yeah, that's basically addressing the first part of it. Then there's powder ghasts, which of course is, these little guys that fly around, usually over there, but they kind of spawn all over the place. And you can shoot them with a bow for a large amount of powder. Basically, nothing special about it. It's just a fucking loot pinata, which is fine. It's respectable and it's pretty fast. If you've got a Terminator, you'll just rack up a bunch of hits and it'll be all good. So definitely do those when you can. They do add up. And then the third being, as I already mentioned, the mithril, the Dwarven Mines events that give mithril powders. So, for example, there is the Raffle, there's the Goblin Raid, there's the Tasty Gourmand. Those might be the three main active ones. But yeah, so take part in those. If you're not Hotum 10 already, you'll be getting Hotum XP from it as well, which is great. So yeah, that is significantly different from how it used to be. Previous to the modernizing mining update, it was very different. Things were very oriented towards the Crystal Hollows grinding. Mining mithril and doing events really did not yield you much of anything, and it was not an efficient method at all. Now it is far, far better than it used to be. Just a non sequitur, make sure you're using your powder pumpkin when you're grinding for powder. It's an extra 5%. You could buy it from Bryn Mawr near the Dwarven Mines bar. So yeah, those basically cover the three versions of mithril grinding. I want to get a little bit into talking about the tool itself, right? Because I'm using kind of a weird one. My scrollables menu perk or mod isn't working for some damn reason, but basically I'm using the highest level mithril drill with a spicy goblin omelet installed on it for an extra 60% mithril powder, right? Because 40% from the drill and then 20% from the spicy goblin omelet. Then I'm also getting the bonuses from Core of the Mountain, that +1 base mithril powder when mining mithril. And then I also have the level 50 powder buff. So all of those things together are contributing to a total 130% additional mithril powder, which is pretty insane. Plus there's 1.1 extra base powder. So that adds up to a pretty significant amount. So using those kinds of bonuses is a huge deal now when it comes to grinding your powder up. Next up is the gemstone powder side of things. So gemstone powder honestly is my favorite to grind because you make a ton of money doing it. I probably spent, I don't know, 5 hours grinding powder to get somewhere in the realm of 10 million powder, which is a crazy average, but you can average well over 2 million powder at this point, 2 million powder per hour compared to the rates that it used to be. I mean, that is nearing 10 times. It used to be pretty abysmal. And so this is significantly better. And that's kind of why I say, like, even though it might seem like mithril powder takes longer, which I honestly don't think it does, but even if it does seem that way, the time to get both mithril powder and gemstone powder to max is much shorter than it used to be, in large part because the gemstone powder grind was made so much better. So yeah, that's significant, and that's pretty much the main way to grind gemstones. You can mine gemstones as well, but the likelihood that that's going to actually add any significant amount other than maybe using like front-loaded perk and like a bunch of bonuses, it's not going to do much for you other than, you know, the first couple, 2,500 I think with front-loaded, but I wouldn't recommend that. So yeah, the best way to do that is Crystal Hollows chests, and it remains that way, you know, the same way as it was before, but it's significantly faster. And yeah, I think that I probably was averaging 20 mil an hour, which is pretty good for basically doing an XP grinding method for SkyBlock XP and powder. And so I thought that was pretty excellent. The XP isn't great, but it's there. You'll level some pets a little bit if you want to through pet XP share. So yeah, there's not a lot to be highlighted there. You'll earn some gemstone powder via grinding mine shafts if that's something that you'll do. So if you want to get to, you know, like I did, like 17, 18 million powder and then just stop there and plan to get your last 2 million powder just for maxing out XP from actually mining gemstones in shafts, that's completely fine. This is kind of to be expected. But you should grind your gemstone powder up to the point where you can at least max out the tree that you're going to use for that. So you'll want maximum benefit while you're doing it. Otherwise, it's not quite as efficient. So yeah, that's pretty much it for gemstone powder. Same way to boost it as mithril, which is just drill, spicy goblin, powder boost, etc. On to glaciite powder. So if anyone has been, you know, watching my channel, which I know a couple of you have, you'll know that I really love the glaciite tunnels. I think they're a perfect mixture of isolated and well integrated into the game. I think that they're a perfect mixture of taking existing content and new content and making them viable in new ways. I love that they took away so much of the resource competition and kind of the grindy route related nonsense that is the Crystal Hollows, and kind of shifted things more over to benefits in the mine shafts via glaciite powder. Now, there are non-mine shaft benefits that you can get via glaciite powder that are worth mentioning, right? There are, you know, things like Gemstone Infusion, Miner's Blessing, Sheer Force, Mineshaft Mayhem. Those are just tokens, to be fair. But those are going to come from the glaciite Hotum levels. But for example, you know, you've got Strong Arm, which is useful even for mining mithril while you're grinding powder. Metalhead, which is excellent too. You know, an extra 100 Dwarven Metal Fortune means an extra guaranteed drop. For the most part, everything else is, and Mining Master, of course. How could I forget? An extra 1 pristine. So yeah, glaciite powder kind of has this interesting combination of both benefiting mining as a whole, but also being very oriented towards benefiting itself and the running of mine shafts and, you know, the actual progress on commissions. And so that's one of the things that makes it so well integrated into the game, is the fact that, yes, it's taking existing content like opals and jaspers and fucking, you know, sapphires and stuff, even mithril, titanium, etc., and it's shoving it into these mine shafts. And it's making it a new, you know, not always ideal, but often ideal way to mine these things as well. But it's not entirely outclassing the previous formats of doing it. It's not making them necessarily obsolete. It gives something to look forward to. And because glaciite powder is as good as it is, while it is going to benefit you doing things like running, you know, Crystal Hollows routes, you're going to see the most benefit from your glaciite powder by doing things that are glaciite powder related, like gaining glaciite powder by mining glaciite stuff. So yeah, I mean, I know I just said the word glaciite like a million times. That was probably tough to listen to. But the general idea is that I think the glaciite powder is the best integrated out of all of them, especially because if you're running glaciite mine shafts, there is pretty much a perk for everything, and none of them are explicitly useless like some of the current lower ones are. Looking at you, Subterranean Fisher. Looking at you. I know that's supposed to be for worm fishing, but like, no, just no. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about powder. This is going to be, I always say this is going to be a relatively short video, but it's actually usually averages to about 10 minutes where I get tired of rambling or feel like I don't have a lot more to talk about, which is funny because I think that was the old YouTube ad meta, but I don't think it works like that at all. And I'm not monetized anyway, so what the hell do I care about how much money YouTube gets off ads on my channel? But anyway, after that whole tangent, yeah, I always enjoy talking about mining related stuff. I think mining would probably have to be declared my favorite content in the game. Skilling wise, I really do love fishing. It holds a special place in my heart. I've done a lot of lava fishing and I love Jabba's parties and stuff, but there's something just so cathartic and mellow about mining and so polished and enjoyable. Just sitting around breaking these blocks, watching yourself get that incremental progress until you really turn into a mining master. It feels really good to have these like crazy, 9,500 plus mining speed and, 2,300 plus mining fortune. Really feels good to get to that point of being an end game miner and just watching the money roll in. But yeah, make sure that you guys get on your powder grind. It really is worth it. And thanks so much for watching the video. I'll catch you next time.